Hello, everybody. Yeah, welcome to Just for Women Africa. My name is Olaleko Amosot, the founder of Just for Women Africa. Today on the show, we have us Dr. Joanna Gunab, who is a medical doctor with disability. She'll be talking to us about why she ended up being a doctor, her challenges being a doctor with disabilities, and anything that comes up during the conversation. So stick around and we'll be right back. Hey everybody, welcome back to Just for Women Africa. We have with us Dr. Joanna. Joanna, you're welcome to Just for Women Africa.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me.
You're welcome, Joanna. Could you tell us, you're a doctor with disability. Could you tell us, how did you end up being disabled? Was it something you were born with, or something happened during your lifetime when made you disabled?
Okay, so I wasn't born with it. In my younger years, around age 4 or 5, I fell sick and was taken to the hospital. And I was supposed to be given an injection, and it ended up giving me my current condition. So I wasn't born with it.
Well, that's really sad to hear. Do you remember vividly when it happened, when the nurse gave you the injection?
Not very vividly, but I think I have a few scenarios of it back. So I remember being given the injection at my buttocks, and then immediately after, couldn't walk. I remember my mom sending me home to sleep, and the following morning waking me up to send me to a hospital. And me telling her I couldn't get up, my mom thought I was just being a child. Spanked me so hard, but later on realized that I genuinely couldn't get up. So it just happened like overnight.
Wow, that's sad. Okay, so can you tell us, you were 4 years old when it happened. What was life for you growing up? Did you have friends around you? What was it like being in school with your condition? How did family treat you and all?
So I was lucky I had a very amazing family, a very amazing nuclear family. My siblings never treated me any differently from the other siblings. They treated me just as equal. I think for me, my family, especially my sisters and brothers, never really saw the disability part. They just saw me as their sibling. The issue was sometimes in school growing up, children wouldn't want to come close to you because, some of them felt you walked a bit weird, you looked a bit weird. So being discriminated against has been something that I've had to deal with all times throughout school, from primary, junior high, secondary, and even the university. So this discrimination is there. Um, but I have been able to get through all that, and I am here today.
So you did mention that in school, that you are being treated differently by some of your friends or colleagues. How did you handle that?
In my very young years, I don't think I handled it very well, because when I want to play with them and they say they don't want to play with me because my leg is like that, it used to hurt. But when I grew up, I noticed that, I don't have to let what people say or how people behave towards me change how I feel and behave towards myself. I should prioritize myself above every other person's opinion, because I live with me, I understand me, I know me. I shouldn't let somebody who has seen me just for a day or a few hours decide what they think I am on who I am about. So as I grew up, I've dealt with it very well. In the younger years, no, I didn't deal with it very well. I used to cry about it. I used to feel sad and alone, but not anymore. I have grown to really accept me and love me.
Okay, so presently, how do you deal with it? I mean, somebody approaches you and the person doesn't want to be friends with you and stuff like that. How do you deal with it afterwards? I know we're all humans and we have feelings. So I'm sure just to go through those phases of,
No, no. And if I'm being honest, no. I think I've just grown to the point where I don't let it bother me anymore. I don't know when I made this growth, but as far back as I think in medical school, there were times where I would call my elder sister crying my eyes out because some boy said they didn't like me anymore because of my disability, or somebody treated me wrongly because I am different. But I don't know when I decided that I was beyond all that. Now I don't let it doesn't get to me at all. When people behave differently towards me, I just tell myself, you know what, they're entitled to their opinions. And that's them. I don't know why I should let someone's thoughts and actions affect my emotions. So presently, no, I don't even think about it, because when you dwell on it, that's when you begin to produce certain emotions about it. I don't even dwell on it to even start producing emotions about it. So that's how I deal with it now.
Okay, that's good to know. Okay, so let's jump fast forward. You did mention medical school and you're a doctor. What made you want to decide to be a doctor?
when I was growing up, it was one of those things, when children are asked what you want to be when you grow up. For me, it was always I want to be a medical doctor when I grow up, right? And then at some point, people used to tell me that I couldn't be. How about you choose something that you sit in the office where you don't have to do so much work? Because doctor job is not that simple, it's not that easy. At some point, I could have bought into their thoughts, right? Their opinions that maybe the job isn't for me because I'm different. But at some point, I asked myself, how about I be the first if there isn't? Now I've come to find out that there are a few medical doctors out there living with disability. And I told myself, if there isn't any medical doctor living with disability, I would like to be the first medical doctor living with disability in Ghana. And this is what I want to do. I just feel like I would do this and I'll do it so great. And in my years of practice, it has proved to me that I was right choosing that profession. So I really wanted to be a medical doctor. First of all, the prestige, because when you are young, you hear how people hype doctors. And he's a doctor, she's a doctor. So it was that for me. But with growth and with passing through life, I realized that it's something that I would really excel very well at. So I gave it a shot, and I think I'm doing my very best out there.
Okay, that's good. So, talk to us about medical school. What was it like being in medical school? Being disabled. Were you given professional treatment, or you had to work? As hard as every other student.
So medical school, it was a very how do I describe the whole 7 years of medical school? I don't have a word for it, but medical school is extremely, yeah, medical school is extremely evolving. Yes, because I evolved from one year to the next, and I kept seeing new parts of me throughout medical school. In the beginning, it was a bit challenging because I was scared. I was really scared because I didn't know what to expect. I didn't know what was going to come. At some point, I thought maybe people were right after all. Maybe I couldn't have done this. Why did I go for this? Because it was all about people used to say things like, are you sure you can do this medicine? They're standing alone, they're walking alone. It's not easy dealing with patients and all that. At some point, I became very afraid. But then I knew I could do this. I just knew I could do this. So I kept giving it my all. So medical school was challenging, it was intriguing, it was exciting knowing that I had overcome some of the challenges. It was, I don't know, divine because I was in the same class with people who were able, more than able, and I was giving it my best shot out there. So for me, I would say that medical school was it was like a growth spurt for me. I went through so many emotions and came out a complete human being. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Could you tell us about a moment in medical school where you felt like quitting because of your disability, or you felt that were not able to do as much as other colleagues?
Not really. Not really. I'm trying to remember a time where I'm trying to, okay. So I think when we entered clinical year, so there's something called clinical year in medicine. So you start with preclinical, and then clinical year is the hospital setting. So when I entered the hospital setting, it was new for me. I mean, the whole going up and down, the walking, the climbing, the descending. So in the beginning, it was very overwhelming. I'm not going to lie. It was very, very overwhelming with some people actually questioning others in the field, whether they think I can make it throughout medical school. Because some people were of the school of thought that I won't be able to do the medicine. And others were challenging that opinion that they think I can't do the medicine. I think I remember vividly having one conversation with one of my lecturers where he was like, I just need to ask you because I believe in you that you can do the medicine. But I need to ask you, do you think you can do the medicine? And I'm like, yeah, I can do the medicine. I've done it for 4 years. I'm in my fifth year. Of course I can do the medicine. And it was like, well, he didn't doubt it, but there are other people who are doubting. So he just wanted to reassure me that he believes in me. I think I never thought of quitting, but people thought I should quit because maybe I won't be able to do it as I'm supposed to do. So not me personally, but people thought I should quit. Yes, at some point.
Okay, so that's about medical school. I mean, so you graduated in
Yeah.
2021. Could you talk to us?
Yeah.
What has it been like being a doctor? After graduation, working in a proper hospital setup.
Yeah.
Do the patients feel apprehensive? When you approach them.
Okay, so I have had a few scenarios like that. I've had a situation where a patient denied me taking care of them because he felt like with my condition I couldn't help him. And one told me flat out that he doesn't see how I could have learnt in medical school with my condition, and he doesn't see how I could have learnt my clinical skills to be able to help him. I've had people looking down on me here and there because I'm different. I've had people looking at me strangely when I'm walking to the consulting room to take the chair as the doctor who is coming to consult. So I can see it sometimes on their faces, but I've had two people telling me straight to my face that they don't think I can take care of them because I live with a disability. So there have been a few challenges like that. But in all, I must say that I really love what I do. I love my job. I find it fulfilling being able to, help someone who is sick, comes in very sick, and then you treat them over a few days and then they are fine again. I find it very fulfilling. I find joy in what I do. It's overwhelming sometimes. I don't have a social life, but then I enjoy what I do. So yeah, being working as a doctor has been an eye opener. It's been enjoying. Yeah.
Let me ask another question. The remark you got from the patient when he saw you, if you were a man, do you think you would have gotten the same remark, or is it because they give that remark because you thought because you're a woman?
Interestingly, the first person who ever discriminated against me as a doctor, he said, I'm a woman. He doesn't see how I can help him. The first thing was because I was a woman. And the second thing was because I live with a disability. So my disability even came second to being a woman. And he denied my services. And I left him alone until when he said he would want me to come back to take care of him, then I did. But the second one also made the same remark. I'm a woman. I live with a disability. He doesn't see how I can help him. So yes, I guess maybe if I was a man, probably it may have been different.
Okay. So why do you think patients think that way, that because it's a woman approaching them, they're not able to do the work, and they feel that was if it is a man will treat them much more better than a woman, despite your disability?
Yeah, I actually don't know why, because women have more empathy as compared to men. So I don't know how they would assume. I just think maybe they believe that if a man lives with a disability, he's more resilient as compared to a woman living with a disability. Because if I should think from their perspective, maybe that's how I think about it. Maybe they assume that when men are disabled, they are still men. They're able to pull through certain challenges. They're able to, you know, pushed through. But when it's a woman, women are more mellow, they are more subtle creatures. Maybe she won't be able to get through the challenges. She probably didn't learn well, that kind of thing. So I want to assume it has to do with the resilience. But I must say that I have more resilience than I think 10 men combined. So yeah, that's something.
Which brings me to my next question. You're now a medical doctor, graduated. What would you like to specialize in?
So currently I am thinking about specializing in emergency medicine. The reason being that I like the adrenaline rush in emergency medicine. You have to think on your feet. You have to think fast to be able to save a patient's life. And throughout my rotations in housemanship, I realized that I pretty much enjoyed my what's it called, emergency medicine rotation, because you would learn a lot, you would see varied cases, you would treat varied conditions. Your clinical skills have to be on point and intact because you are trying to intervene. Because when patients come in at the emergency, they come in critical condition. You have to think fast, you have to act fast, and you have to save their lives. So for me, I found it very enjoying and very fulfilling when I was doing my emergency medicine rotation. So I decided to specialize in emergency medicine. However, I have a few backup plans should I change my mind at some point. Yeah.
Okay, so to our viewers who are watching, who are not so much into the medical field, could you just explain what is medical emergency?
Oh, okay. So medical emergency simply means it's like how do I put it? The first point when you have a patient who is critically ill. So when critically ill patients come in, their first contact is the emergency. And I'm pretty sure when you say emergency, people understand. So the emergency is the first contact for any critically ill patients. So you come in there, mostly patients who come in through the emergency are critically ill. They are almost at the brink of death, some of them. And then you have to think fast and act fast to be able to how do I put it? Bring them down a bit, maintain them for a few days, then send them when they are stabilized. Send them to the wards for continuity of care.
All right, Joanna, you have a foundation called SOFA. Could you talk to us about that? What's that all about?
Gladly. So, SOFA Foundation stands for Same Opportunities for All. So, myself and my co-founder, she's called Chelsea. We both live with disability, and in a few years ago, we got together through the someone, and then we thought what we could do to assist society, right? we thought, what can we do to change how things go in the next 20 years? How do we want to change person living with disabilities' lives? So initially, we wanted to go through the streets, pick up persons living with disability, equip them with a skill, and then put them back in society, right? But then our financial strength was not there yet. So we decided, how about we touch the generation of tomorrow today? So then in doing that, we decided to go to rural communities in Ghana, pick up children living with disability. If they are not in school, put them back in school, ensure that they stay in school. If they are in school, support them through school, support their remain in school throughout so that they can have a better shot at attaining a proper life like Chelsea and I did.
All right, Joanna, that's lovely. Okay, Joanna, could you tell us what's the future for you?
Okay, so that's a very broad question, but I'll try to summarize what I think I have planned. So for me, my future is looking like specialization into a field that I'm very interested in. My foundation, Silver Foundation Ghana, widen its network to be able to support male children in rural communities living with disability, to set up an institution that supports persons living with disability. Um, Probably set up a hospital of my own because I am a medical doctor. My elder sister is a medical doctor. She's married to a medical doctor. So we have enough medical doctors in the family to start our own hospital. So sometime soon in the future, I intend to start my own hospital. Yeah.
Okay.
So these are a few plans that I have planned for my future.
All right, you did mention that your co-founder of your foundation, Chelsea, is also lives with disability. And I'm sure you also know other people who live with disability. And I'm sure you guys share stories together. Could you tell us, when it comes to relationships, what are some of the things that you heard or feedback? Are men much more accommodating to women with disabilities?
No, no, they are not. They are not at all. I think I basically built a mentality that a lot of African men, a lot, not all, a lot of African men um, are closed-minded when it comes to things about disability and whatnot. Because a few of them would come close to you, and then when they get to know you, they realize that, oh, wow, she's much more than what you see on the outside, right? She's fun, she's entertaining, she's loving, she's kind and all that. But then you keep hearing comments like, I like you, but I don't think I'm ready for a relationship. But you, Chelsea and I and a few other people, we shared stories when we've come to realize that men are not kind when it comes to women living with disability. A lot of the times they try to take advantage. They think that because you live with a disability, you're an easy target for them. And sometimes they try, and when it doesn't work, they just start to treat you very funny. And we have had to endure these experiences and much worse. So if you ask me whether men are kind, no, men are not kind. But I still believe that there are a few out there who would treat a woman, either disability or not, would treat a woman very well.
From your feedback from people with disabilities, how do they treat such scenarios? I mean, when the men approach and they don't end up being what they expect them to be.
So I think it depends on your mental capacity. Some people break down. I think I used to break down. In fact, most of the stories I've had, people break down. These women break down. They break down, but at some point they build the resilience. They build their walls, they build their heart to be able to withstand when things like that happen. And I think I myself and Chelsea and others have reached that point where when it happens, we just tell ourselves, you know what, it's fine. Let me brush it off and we move. So yeah, I think it just helps build character. It helps strengthen you in some aspects.
Okay. All right, Joanna. As you round up the interview, could you tell us what's your advice to women out there in Africa, in Ghana, and the world who are watching, who are disabled like you?
Don't give up. Don't settle. Don't let people tell you you're not enough, so you need to settle. Don't let people belittle you. Don't believe that you are little simply because others are belittling you. Don't believe you are less simply because someone says you are. If you've made it this far, you are far greater than what they think. You are far stronger. You're far unique. You've made it this far on your own. You are strong. You don't give yourself enough credit for it, but you are stronger than you could ever think.
Thank you, Dr. Joanna, for being with us on the show. We really appreciate it. We wish you all the best in future. We look forward to interviewing again in future.
Thank you.
And to our viewers who are watching, don't forget to like, subscribe, tell a friend who knows a friend about Just Women Africa. And from Dr. Joanna and I in Accra, Ghana, it's been. Bye.
Bye.